It's not that. That was the sound of me finally getting this gosh darn game to work. One of the very first SpongeBob games ever to be made.
Actually, Captain, that's a bit of a misdemeanor. Technically, the very first SpongeBob game to ever be made was the Game Boy game called Search for the Golden Spatula.
Do you got coral in your ears, boy? I said one of the first.
Requesting permission to push him overboard, Captain.
Permission granted.
Also, please don't ask why I'm refusing to put in the effort of putting on a pirate accent. Welcome, everybody. James, what is this?
So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually something pretty deep into my own childhood of ever owning my very first computer.
Same.
This is literally SpongeBob SquarePants, Operation Krabby Patty, originally playable via Windows 95 and 98 computers. Though, as of recently, I've been able to actually get it to work on my high-tech computer that can't really run next-gen games worth of crap, but can run this game more or less fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jordy, have you ever...
Hi, Jordan.
Hello.
Have you ever played this game?
Ready for another? Not this one, no. I have played other games, though.
Which ones?
Well, I played Employee of the Month, which I know you own and are hoping to show off at some point soon.
Nice.
Yeah. I've played very little of Battle of Bikini Bottom. I've played Lights, Camera, Pants. And I played Creature from the Krusty Krab.
Okay. Oh, hello there, random slug.
Alright, so as far as Operation Krabby Patty is concerned, this game is split into two sides. The right side of the bed and the wrong side of the bed, both of which have their own somewhat unique plots to them.
And beyond that, it kind of also reminds me a little bit of the Animaniacs Party Pack thing, where like it's all like a bunch of little like arcade titles with cutscenes mixed in, such as.
You
You
got the camera down.
And yes, as I did say show earlier in the video, I did splice in these subtitles myself because the game doesn't have them naturally.
Yeah, with a bit of an odd exclusion, but yeah.
I mean, classic early computer games. And
yeah, so I definitely remember this game came out either before or right as Season 3 was starting, and you can definitely say that they've had plenty to work off of, including that one episode where Plankton made an imitation crabs.
Yep.
And that's why he also has an army of ants?
Oh yeah, the sea ants. Apparently that's just a bit of a heads up. This game's part of a trilogy of games made by the studio. They tend to take quite a bit of liberties with SpongeBob, and it definitely shows in the games they made.
Mm-hmm.
Also nice stuff.
I mean, they've pretty much been making all the SpongeBob PC games up until, like, the mid-2000s.
I think that's right.
Sorry. There you go. They also have a lot of fun with the anime. They have fun with the humor, although the CG animation is still rather dated.
Yeah,
it is, and that is something I will definitely say regarding this game is that, well, I guess the PC SpongeBob games around this year in general is that they're a little more non sequitur than your typical SpongeBob fare. Like honestly, it's almost comparable to that of Sam and Max.
To some degree, yeah.
Also, this particular Mr. Krabs design is a little silly looking. Also, yeah, oh my god, this already is a trip and a half, because I remember when I first played this game, my computer dreamed of handling it at this smooth a frame rate.
Yeah, so basically, what you're doing here right now is, as you see, all the sea ants are gathering all the Krabby Patty ingredients. Basically, you have to go over and roll them up. You don't have to get them in any order, just as long as you get enough ingredients to make 4 patties there. Don't roll over the ants, because they will detract from your score, and also from your timer, because every one of these stages are under a time limit.
Yeah, right. No, the primary basis of Operation Krabby Patty is that every level is pretty much a score attack, where you're trying to go for pretty much everything that the level has to offer, and you are awarded points for it. And the other big thing regarding the game is that every level of the game is comprised of 4 stages.
Alright, so this is stage 1.
3 of which are mandatory to complete, and the 4th is pretty much just a little bonus game where you're under a much stricter time limit, but you're given more points for your efforts.
Right. Oh no. Oh, okay. But yeah.
And I mean, and I will say this right off the bat: don't even give 2 shits about your score. It doesn't really mean anything in the long run. It's primarily just there to make you feel like you are playing like a arcade SpongeBob game.
You just, ultimately, you just want to complete the objectives in the time limit.
Right.
So, yeah, that was my my
Oops.
main exposure was I did own this, and I played this at a much lower frame rate. It was generally one of those things where, admittedly, I never got far in this game because every game was was almost unplayable to me at how slow it would actually, pan out to be.
It's weird because it's going on my personal history with the game. It's like I said before, this was like around the same time I got this game was also when I got my very first computer, which was like a Windows 95 that was a hand-me-down from some neighbors. And, I mean, it could run, certain games fine enough, and this one being no exception. Like, maybe not to the same, smooth degree as I could, well, in the game proper, not quite like this. But, regardless of such, I was able to play more or less from beginning to end, and, what else to mention? I mean, that's pretty much where it all stands. That's my big history with this game. Like, it was one of my first games for the system, for the PC, and I had my fun with it. I did sort of have some frustrations trying to get everything within the allotted time, but that's just how it goes.
Speaking of time,
we all grow and stuff. Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of time, that was something that I meant to correct myself. Running over the ants only deducts just points from your score. Hitting the jellyfish is what takes off your timer.
Oh, like that.
Like that.
Also, should also be said, you can primarily play this game with the mouse, but you can also use keyboard, like the arrow keys and whatnot, if you so prefer. And I do believe this game also has controller support, which is actually especially obvious with a gag clip you'll see at the end of the game.
Ooh, a kelp bar.
Yeah, that's something I think either for health or gives you time. I think it's not health.
It's additional score.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no means
Gosh,
of regaining
still.
health because there's no means of losing health. All you have to worry about is time.
Right.
Onions, who's got them down there? Okay. But yep, that about does it. I will be on that hype. Did you own this?
There we go.
Did you own this game, hype?
I did. In fact, I think this was one of the first SpongeBob games, aside from Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, that I did own. And I was able to beat it, but I can kind of echo James' sentiments in that, yeah, this game can get, like, surprisingly merciless, particularly with how, as you can see with the ants here, like, when you're at the later stages, they really know how to book it from you.
You pretty much have to corner them.
I mean, in all fairness, it sort of feels, what's the word? This feels like, God damn it, my brain's literally being fried today.
With how they're getting
it feels
faster
practical that they would be running away from you, because they don't want to get run over by that wheeled monstrosity.
They shouldn't have been carrying the formula. I don't know. Also, I guess I should ask, does Mr. Krabs talk in this?
He does, but...
Yes, he does. And, gonna say this outright, it's still the same... it's still the same replacement actor they had in Battle for Bikini Bottom.
In fact, I think this is the first time he voiced him in this.
Yeah, okay.
Which would make
Fair
sense.
Like, they use them far more often than I would have thought they would.
Still...
Oh, boy.
And again, yes, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is absolutely still on our docket. We
Devil
just have
damn,
a
look at
couple
that
other
timer.
things we wanna do. We just need...
Yeah, this was primarily just something I wanted to do on my spare time, because recently I have been on this sort of classic PC binge, now that I know how to properly get them to, at the very least, run on my on my high-end PC.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, not all of them gonna work, but it's also a matter of, like, some of them just have the just don't have the right specs that this freaking thing can replicate.
Yeah. Meanwhile...
At the Krusty Krab.
Squidward's napping on the job.
I mean, frankly, I'm surprised that this game, out of all of them, still ran more or less okay. The only downside is that every time I try to reopen it, the music doesn't play.
Wow, it actually is just straight up working.
Bland.
Yeah. Look at all those Krabby Patties.
Yeah.
They keep stucking on their heads, though.
I think that's something they call sea ant magnetism.
Yeah. Wait. Oh no. Yeah, they're also not too bright.
Where are they going?
Where?
I don't know.
Anywhere but here.
Oh, hello there, Ebony Maw.
So do these... Yeah, I remember doing this a lot as well. So wait, so
Yeah.
Are these plots connected at all?
Yes, they are. Basically, after you clear one level, you'll unlock the next level that does progress that part of the plot. Again, this game is split into 2 stories.
Okay, so meanwhile... What?
Hey, Patrick. Bye, Patrick.
I love how that clip of him going, ooh, was clearly compressed.
God. Bring him back to life.
I mean, to be fair, the whole audio work in general for this game is a little compressed.
Yeah, well, compressed and also recycled.
And I will definitely say the writing in general, like, even though this was made right as I want to say Season 2 was just ending and or Season 3 was starting, this game almost feels like it was made with the mindset of Season 1. To a point where some, lingo from that season stuck around.
Possibly.
Hey, King Tentacle.
I thought that was going to be dry, but okay.
Oh, why not? It's so easy.
All you gotta do is take the permit test.
Clearly nothing bad has ever happened to us.
And also, his shoes became gray.
Also, pay no mind to how his eyelashes will always be there no matter how hard he closes his eyes.
So,
Yeah.
at this point, it really is just ultimately just a race.
It's all score attack under a time limit. So now that we're at the Mrs. Puff's boating school, our mission here is to collect all of the approach all the checkpoints in order.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and they have to be the and basically they have to be the same color that is like shown up there. I think.
Get out of the way, pedestrians.
Yeah. Like, I think if you get the wrong color, like, in later stages anyway, it acts as a time penalty.
It's a time penalty no matter what.
Okay.
Meanwhile, watch this thing, same flip I do, and look who's up in the bleachers.
Some squid, some...
Oh!
There's Mermaid Man.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy! The only
For
time you'll
some
see him in
reason.
the game, by the way.
Don't make eye contact. Oh, okay, red checkpoint is down there. And
it's on the
map
way.
Is especially,
I think the only reason they're here is because they want to see some car crashes.
I'm not. Okay, yellow checkpoint was down to the left.
I love going to the roller derby, don't you, Barnacle Boy?
Okay, so I'm
No,
checking.
brother.
Do all the checkpoints move everywhere when you collect one, or just the one you just collected?
Just the one you collected.
Okay, so
Like, all the others stay in place.
Perfect.
And again, whenever you collect a telescope in a level, that'll activate the map, which you can look through by pressing the right mouse.
Okay, I thought it was like, oh, okay, that's good. I thought it would only work like just like a temporary power up. That's very useful then.
Oh yeah, no, it's very handy, especially in more expansive levels like this one.
Mm-hmm. So Logan, I don't know if we talked about it back when we did like our first look at Revenge of the Flying Dutchman or whatnot, but were there any other SpongeBob games that you grew up with?
Make way, Mrs. Puff.
Oh jeez. Trying to think. Okay, off the top of my head, all the SpongeBob games I had. We already mentioned. We did return. I owned Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. I owned this one. Oh, now we gotta avoid obstacles. I owned this one. I owned. I also owned. Well, some of the stuff. I mean, as far as Battle for Bikini Bottom talk, I'll just save that for when we just do Rehydrated because I have a couple stories about that one. And then.
Oh, absolutely.
I also owned. I did nudge him out of the way. I did own the original PlayStation 1 2D based sprite game.
Oh, Super Sponge.
Super Sponge.
Yeah, I did own Super Sponge, and then I did also own Yellow Avenger, the DS game.
Oh, I forgot about that game.
It's alright.
It's okay. It was definitely serviceable on long trips, but it's not like there's nothing like super memorable about it. It's a very kind of one and done game.
I get you.
No real.
It was made with the bare minimum effort.
But yeah. Apart from that, like, excuse me. I'm surprised that's not a time penalty, like a serious one for running over the driving instructor.
Yeah, running over Mrs. Puff.
Feels like that.
She doesn't even make the effort.
I feel like that would be at least a sticky note on the license thing, like, warning, ran over the driving instructor.
Why?
To be fair, I figured it'd also be the same thing for accidentally running over the not the nematodes, the
anchovies.
Anchovies, that's it.
Nobody cares about the anchovies.
I mean, the anchovies actually make the effort to run away from you, so technicality, that's fine. It's just Mrs. Puff all she does is puff up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's her one self-defense tactic. We shall not.
Also,
we shan't judge it.
fun little attention to detail. You can see SpongeBob's wearing the same safety helmet he did in that same episode.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also, this is certainly not a kind of boat he should. Oh jeez.
Yeah, it's funny too because gotta say this outright. Both the right side. Well, actually, I think we already brought this up. Both the right side and the wrong side of the bed more or less have the exact same mini games. Some things are changed around a little bit depending on the context, and I do know for the wrong side of the bed when you do this level, it's actually the first level you play. SpongeBob is in he's actually in the proper boat that he rode in that episode. Ow.
Right.
Oh boy.
And though for some reason he wears his Krusty Krab hat instead.
It's and that's something the screenshot I remember, but it's just I'm also thinking off the top of my head of like, it's also something where like, yeah, now that you put it this way, it kind of makes the game look a little cheap in the sense of when you get right down to it, the mechanics have not changed from the first game to this game. You are still moving around like clicking and dragging, and you're just
basically
going.
Yeah, you basically. I was just gonna say, yeah, that is true. Like, you basically just do the exact same thing in every single one of these missions. Like, the only thing that changes is that the shape of the item you're looking for is different, but it's still an item you have to explore a map to find.
At the same time, I don't think it's really that bad. It's really not that big of a deal, considering the fact that even though it is the same thing, it is more or less an item collectible at the end of the day. It's not like they're outright. It's not the outright same thing. Like the context will always be different, and that's kind of. It's kind of like comparing Mario games. Like you still do the same thing at the end of the day. It's just how they do it how they present it is different.
I suppose.
Sometimes it's more about the spectacle than just the overall idea of the gameplay. Again, I just think my biggest problem with the game is the fact that the right side and the wrong side of the bed, like the levels you go through, are more or less the same. Like aside from again cosmetic differences and whatnot, and
the order you go in.
Right, and there's not much to differentiate them. Like, again, when you're in the boating school level in the wrong side of the bed, it's more or less the exact same level structure, like level design as this.
What do you think of what you're seeing here so far, Jordan?
It's very convoluted.
It's all okay. There's also been this other thing I've been thinking of. I think I've brought up the same conversation before, but it's also something else that I'm thinking of whether or not I should try to do because I have the means with which to download and potentially emulate it. Is whether or not we'd be interested at all in the point-and-click Scooby-Doo games once they're all
Maybe
animated and stuff.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I don't see why not.
Like the cowboy and the mummy one.
Could you repeat that?
Like the cowboy one or the mummy one. Those point-and-click adventure games with Scooby-Doo in the game.
Oh, those! The one from the Learning Company. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. In fact, the cowboy one is the one that I've actually played a lot of growing up.
Oh,
then I'll see if I can. Oh my god!
Yeah, he can make it.
There we go.
Yay! I barely passed.
All right. But yeah, and then there's the bonus stage. Oh no!
By the way, I love this cutscene coming up.
Let's see what happens.
What really happened?
I wanted my license.
Oh
Oh gosh! Oh no!
This was Puff in particular.
What the? What the?
Yeah, no, they had their fun with this whole game, as stupid as it may seem.
Wait,
what?
Where'd you get that picture of him?
Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to handle the answer to.
Oh!
Maybe SpongeBob should have applied for a moron license instead.
Well,
Also,
Ouch.
Hey, SpongeBob.
What's up?
Nice of you to drop in.
drop in.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like the pretenses of this meeting. Well,
And with that all said and done, we'll see what Patrick has to say on the situation next part.
Goodbye.
Yeah. I said, I guess they're going to miss the patty raid.